Mandir Inauguration Impact, January 22, 2024. A date now etched into the collective memory of a nation. It wasn't just the dawn of another winter day. It was the culmination of a centuries-long saga, a moment of profound spiritual and cultural significance that reverberated across the globe. The grand inauguration of the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya was an event of unprecedented scale and emotion. For millions of Hindus, this was not merely the opening of a new temple, it was the correction of a historical wound, the fulfillment of a deeply held faith, and the symbolic return of Lord Ram to his birthplace, his Janmabhoomi. The air in Ayodhya was thick with devotion, a palpable energy composed of chanted hymns, the ringing of bells, and the collective heartbeat of a faith community witnessing its most cherished dream materialize. The central ceremony, the Pran Pratishtha, or consecration, was a masterclass in ancient Vedic ritual, broadcast live to an audience of hundreds of millions. When the veil was lifted from the new idol of Ram Lala, the infant Lord Ram, it was a moment of pure, unadulterated ecstasy for believers. The first glimpse of the Ram Lala idol, sculpted from dark Krishna Shila stone with eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of ages, became an instant icon. Social media feeds exploded with images of the deity. Each share, like, and comment a digital offering at the new altar. For countless devotees, seeing those eyes felt like a personal connection, a divine gaze that transcended the screen and touched their souls. The emotional resonance was overwhelming. In cities, towns, and villages across India, and in diaspora communities from Houston to Sydney, families gathered around screens, many with tears streaming down their faces. It was a shared catharsis, a collective release of generations of yearning. This sense of fulfillment was immediate and overwhelming. The temple, a magnificent structure of pink sandstone and intricate carvings, built without a single piece of iron or steel, stood as a testament to resurrected pride. Its architecture, following the traditional Nagara style, was itself a statement, a revival of ancient Indian engineering and aesthetic principles. Every pillar, every carving told a story from the Ramayana, transforming the physical space into a living narrative of Dharma, duty, and divinity. The global attention was immense. International media outlets, which had for decades covered the Ayodhya dispute as a source of conflict, now reported on the sheer scale of the celebration, attempting to convey the depth of faith that fueled it. The immediate aftermath of the inauguration was a testament to this pent-up devotion. A human river began to flow towards Ayodhya. In the first 10 days alone, an estimated 2.5 million pilgrims visited the temple. The numbers were staggering, far exceeding initial projections and testing the limits of the newly developed infrastructure. Endless queues of devotees snaking towards the temple, some waiting for over 10 hours in the cold, became the defining image of the temple's first few weeks. Yet, there was little complaint. For those in the queue, the wait was part of the pilgrimage, a small penance, a test of their devotion. The atmosphere was not one of frustration, but of shared purpose. Strangers shared food and water, sang bhajans together, and helped the elderly. It was a microcosm of a community united by a single, powerful belief. This initial surge was more than just religious tourism. It was a spiritual phenomenon. People from all walks of life made the journey. There were wealthy industrialists and humble farmers, urban tech professionals and rural artisans, all standing shoulder to shoulder, their social distinctions dissolving before the deity. This initial wave established Ayodhya not just as a major pilgrimage site, but as the new spiritual heartland of modern Hinduism. It signaled a cultural and spiritual shift, a confident and unapologetic expression of faith on a scale not seen in modern Indian history. The sense of renewed identity was palpable, not just within India, but among the global Hindu diaspora, who saw the temple as a powerful anchor to their ancestral homeland and spiritual roots. The inauguration wasn't an endpoint, it was a beginning, the opening of a new chapter where faith, culture, and identity converged with spectacular, world-altering force. The first year of the Ram Mandir was defined by this initial explosive release of spiritual energy, setting the stage for the profound transformations that were to follow.
Block 2. Cultural Revival and Economy. The monumental impact of the Ram Mandir's inauguration quickly rippled outwards from the spiritual to the tangible, reshaping the very fabric of Ayodhya and igniting what many have termed a cultural revival. This wasn't just about a new building, it was about the reawakening of an entire ecosystem of art, tradition, and commerce centered around the epic of Ramayana. For decades, Ayodhya was a sleepy, somewhat neglected town, its primary identity tied to a contentious dispute. Overnight, it was thrust onto the global stage, and with that spotlight came a powerful impetus to revive and celebrate the culture that surrounds its patron deity. Local artisans carving intricate wooden statues of Ram, painters creating vibrant depictions of Ramayana scenes, and weavers designing textiles with religious motifs found their skills in sudden, high demand. Ram Leela troupes, the traditional folk enactments of the Ramayana, which had been a fading art form, experienced a renaissance. They now had a permanent global audience, with performances becoming a nightly staple for visiting pilgrims, infusing the city with a constant living connection to its core narrative. This cultural blossoming is intrinsically linked to the city's staggering economic transformation. The vision for Ayodhya was not just to build a temple, but to create a global spiritual capital, and the scale of the infrastructure development is breathtaking. The city is now served by the gleaming new Maharishi Valmiki International Airport, a facility that can handle millions of passengers a year and connects Ayodhya directly to the world. The railway station has been completely overhauled, expanded, and modernized to accommodate the influx of pilgrims, with special Vande Bharat Express trains now linking it to major hubs like Delhi. A network of new highways and ring roads has been laid to ease traffic congestion, while the city itself is being developed as a smart city with modern amenities, underground cabling, and beautified public spaces. The banks of the sacred Saryu River have been developed with new ghats, parks, and light and sound shows, turning the riverfront into a major attraction. This development has triggered an unprecedented economic boom. The hospitality sector has exploded, with a rush to build everything from luxury five-star hotels to budget-friendly dharamshalas and guest houses. Restaurants, souvenir shops, and transportation services are thriving. This has created thousands of jobs, offering new livelihoods to the local population. Property values in and around Ayodhya have skyrocketed, with land that was once agricultural now being sold for commercial development at astronomical prices. This rapid growth has brought undeniable prosperity to many and has fundamentally altered the economic landscape of the entire region, which was one of the most underdeveloped in the state of Uttar Pradesh. The temple has become a powerful economic engine, a magnet for investment, and a model for what religious tourism can achieve. However, this exponential growth has not been without its challenges and complexities. The very speed and scale of the transformation have created significant pressures. The massive influx of people has put an immense strain on the city's resources, particularly water supply and waste management. While new systems are being put in place, they are struggling to keep up with the daily deluge of visitors. The rapid construction and rising property values have also led to the displacement of some long-term residents and small business owners whose properties were acquired for road widening and beautification projects. There is a palpable tension between the old Ayodhya and the new. An old traditional home standing next to a massive modern hotel construction site serves as a powerful visual metaphor for this transition. Critics and conservationists worry that in the rush to modernize, Ayodhya might lose its unique ancient character, its narrow lanes and old temples being overshadowed by a homogeneous modern aesthetic. The challenge for the authorities is to manage this growth sustainably, to ensure that the economic benefits are distributed equitably, and to preserve the soul of the city while accommodating the needs of a global pilgrimage hub. The first year, therefore, has been a delicate balancing act between revival and revolution, opportunity and upheaval, demonstrating that building a temple is one thing, but building a city worthy of it is an ongoing, far more complex endeavor.
Block 3. Debate and future pilgrimage. From the solid ground of concrete and commerce, we now move to the more turbulent terrain of conscience and controversy. The Ram Mandir, for all its spiritual and economic impact, remains one of the most debated structures in modern India. Its first year has not silenced these conversations. In many ways, it has amplified them, forcing a national reckoning with complex questions of history, identity, and the future of the Indian state. To understand the present, one must acknowledge the past. The temple stands on a site that was, for centuries, occupied by the Babri Masjid, a 16th-century mosque. The long, often violent dispute over this land culminated in the mosque's demolition in 1992 and a protracted legal battle that ended with the 2019 Supreme Court verdict, which granted the land for the construction of a temple while calling the demolition an egregious violation of the rule of law. An archival black-and-white photo of the Babri Masjid serves as a poignant reminder of this deeply complex history. Proponents of the temple see the verdict as a just resolution, a legal affirmation of their historical and religious claims. However, for many Indian Muslims and secularists, the entire episode remains a source of profound pain and a symbol of minority marginalization. This historical context directly feeds into the ongoing debate about secularism. The deep involvement of the state in the inauguration ceremony, with the Prime Minister leading the rituals, raised critical questions. The Prime Minister performing rituals inside the Sanctum Sanctorum was celebrated by millions as a leader embracing the nation's Hindu heritage. Critics, however, argued that it blurred the lines between state and religion, challenging the secular principles enshrined in India's constitution. They questioned whether such state patronage for one religion's monument sits comfortably within a pluralistic democracy. This conversation is central to India's contemporary identity crisis. Is it a secular state with a Hindu majority, or is it evolving into a Hindu nation where other faiths are secondary? The Ram Mandir is the focal point of this intense ideological debate, a symbol of a rising Hindu nationalist movement, or Hindutva, which seeks to define Indian identity through the lens of Hindu culture and values. Looking forward, the Mandir is undeniably reshaping the landscape of Hindu pilgrimage. It has established a new, powerful center of gravity, potentially eclipsing older, more established pilgrimage sites in importance. It is becoming the anchor of a new Ramayana circuit, a tourist trail that connects various sites associated with Lord Ram's life. This is changing the nature of pilgrimage itself. It's becoming more organized, more accessible, and more integrated with modern tourism infrastructure. The question is what this means for the diversity of Hindu traditions. Will the grand, state-supported narrative of Ayodhya overshadow the countless local folk traditions of Ram worship that exist across the subcontinent? Will it lead to a more monolithic, standardized form of Hinduism? The long-term societal and religious impacts are still unfolding. For many, the temple is a source of immense pride, a symbol of a civilization reasserting itself. It has energized Hindu communities globally and is likely to become a central part of the faith's identity for generations to come. At the same time, its presence continues to be a sensitive issue in inter-community relations. The challenge for Indian society is to navigate this new reality, to find a way for the temple to be a site of faith and celebration for Hindus without it becoming a symbol of triumphalism or exclusion for other communities. 1 year on, the Ram Mandir is far more than stone and spire. It is a mirror reflecting a nation in flux, a testament to faith, a catalyst for economic change, and a lightning rod for the most fundamental questions about India's soul. It stands not as a conclusion to a long and painful chapter, but as the prologue to a new one, whose story is still being written every single day.